What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the all-new 2025 Volkswagen Tiguan. That's an SEL R-Line for 42 grand. And then this is the 2026 Honda CRV Sport Touring Hybrid for 43,800. It's a little bit more. Worth mentioning, you can get a non-hybrid CRV, but all the top trim levels are going to be hybrids. So which one are you going to go for? Similar price point, very different cars overall if you're looking for a small size crossover. But shout out to Flo Honda of Statesville for the CRV for today's video, and Volkswagen USA for the Tiguan. Let's get right into it. Taking a look at the specifications for these two crossovers, this 2026 Honda CRV Hybrid is going to feature a 2-liter inline naturally aspirated engine with, of course, the EV system. This has net horsepower at 204 with net torque at 247. This is all-wheel drive with a CVT for the transmission. Curb weight is around 3,900 pounds, and we get a 14-gallon fuel tank, and you can expect 38 miles per gallon in the city with 33 out on the highway. As far as the Volkswagen goes, this is going to get a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. So kind of the same engine, just EV or turbo in addition to the actual engine. This one's going to pump out 201 horsepower with 221 pound-feet of torque. We get an 8-speed automatic transmission, an all-wheel drive system. Curb weight is 3,800 pounds, and you're looking at 22 miles per gallon in the city with 30 on the highway on a 15.6-gallon fuel tank. Moving on to the exterior styling with the CRV and the Tiguan. For 2026, the CRV hasn't really changed from the 25-year model. So these are both the most up-to-date cars. On the Volkswagen, we got a lot of round aspects to the bodywork. I think it's really bold. I like the LEDs on the headlights, and the upper section is a LED bar that'll go from one side to the next, and the Volkswagen logo is ambient lit. Got a nice bold front end, forward-facing camera, parking sensors, nice grille, very sleek design, nice sharp lines on the hood, and then nice painted fender flares as well, with sleek lines and some sharp aspects to the side. I like the chrome trim throughout the windows and roof rails. There's a panoramic sunroof up there as well. For the Honda CRV, it's a lot sharper in angle. You have a more simple design for the headlights with the DRL up above, nice large grille, sharp openings throughout the bottom, and then we have just parking sensors for this car. So I think they both look really good. No complaints there. The Honda's definitely a little bit sharper, nice side profile, sleek ending into these taillights as we have this black trim around them. And then you have just a nice plastic material down below. You have a couple basic bulbs in the taillights, black trim. But overall, just a nice sharp style for the Honda CRV. A little bit more round, maybe a bit more modern style for the Volkswagen Tiguan. They both look good, but the Volkswagen definitely does look a bit more modern. Now on the interior for the 2026 Honda CRV. So this, I would say, is a pretty minimalistic, simple interior. You have some cool mesh for the air vents, just some gloss plastic trim. There's some soft touch on the upper portion of the dash and doors, some padding on the armrest, and then a little bit of contrast stitching for the seats with this nice leather type material. You have the perforations and smooth design, a small sunroof up above with a sunglass holder, and then your multimedia screen, basically what you're used to seeing from Honda for the last couple years. You have these easy to use tiles. It looks nice overall. It's very functional. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and then in reverse, you have a pretty basic camera with a couple different views. So again, nothing really all too groundbreaking or fancy. You do get physical climate controls in a simple layout, just heated seats, plugs and storage, and then you can see a little bit more storage down below. There are drive modes in here for the hybrid system. You have Eco, Sport, Normal, as well as Individual. And then the gauge cluster is a digital screen where you can configure audio information on the left, and then a lot of trip info, power indication, things like that on the right side. You have regenerative braking that you can adjust, heated steering wheel, basic controls. And then now over into the all-new Volkswagen Tiguan. Obviously, you can tell this is a lot newer looking. This is a really cool interior. You're gonna see soft touch material on the upper dash and doors, and I really like the contrast throughout the door panel, the stitching, the piping, the padding. Got the quilted leather on the seats with a cool two-tone panoramic sunroof as well. I mean, this definitely is a very nice interior. It seems very modern. You're gonna get a massive 15-inch screen, which not everyone's going to like. You're gonna have a ton of information that you can scroll through, so it's very customizable, and you really can just see everything you can think of. You're gonna get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, built-in navigation, massaging seats even. You have ventilated seats. You have tons of controls. I mean, the screen really is action-packed. And then for climate, I guess the one drawback, to do fan speed, you have to go into climate every single time to then make that adjustment. You also have a small menu that'll do the same thing. So one negative of the interior, volume slider up here, you have temperatures you can play with here as well. But I mean, this is definitely a very modern car. Now, for the cameras, you have a very nice top-down view, backup camera. You can change the views. You have the forward view as well, depending. So really no complaints. This is a pretty modern car with a lot of cool features. As far as drive modes go, down below for volume, you can actually then tap this, and we now have our drive modes that you can select. You can also see them pop up on the screen. Something. You can even tap the atmospheres to change all the interior lighting. The doors have backlighting on this panel, underside, the gauge cluster screen. This will light up as well. So really, really nice interior design. You have the air vents, storage, all those down below, and then you can see storage in the center, pretty good sized fill-up box. On the steering wheel, you do have your basic controls like cruise control. You have some Bluetooth and audio controls along with these screens. You can configure what you want to see here a little bit nicer than in the Honda, which is a cool touch, and then over on the left side as well. So pretty cool, all the stuff you have, very configurable. You can get full screen nav in the center. So hopping into the back seat with the Honda CRV. So this has a wheelbase around 106 inches. The Tiguan is actually closer to 110. But sitting here at 5'11", I have pretty good headroom, as you can tell. With the driver's seat at my height, I have pretty good knee room and foot room. There's air vents and USB plugs. The seats are pretty padded. They cradle my legs well. We can recline these a lot. So they can go pretty much straight up or pretty much all the way down to be a pretty decent back seat. Obviously no panoramic sunroof, so you're just gonna get the normal headliner. But fundamentally, you know, it's a back seat that's gonna work for the family with good size and enough amenities. And then onto the Tiguan's back seat space. Now these do not recline at all. However, the legroom and footroom is crazy. You have so much space. I really like that. You have air vents, you do get heated seats, and then the 2 USB plugs. Storage behind these seats as well. And with the panoramic roof, you have just a really good amount of light let in. So overall, this is more roomy with extra features. However, the recline I really like in the Honda. I wouldn't mind reclining this just a little bit more. These seat bases are pretty much as padded, maybe a little bit stiffer. And then they also cradle my leg nicely. And then both cars, of course, are gonna get the armrest and cup holders in the center, but I really like some reclining seats in this. And then as far as cargo volume goes, for the Volkswagen Tiguan, with the seats in the up position, you're gonna get 26.5 cubic feet of cargo volume. For the Honda CRV, you're gonna get a little bit more at 39.3. So somehow this is more roomy, and I would assume that's when you recline the seats all the way forward, so it could be a misleading spec. Now from here, you have these handles you can pull for the recline, and then you can get these to fold nice and flat. Pretty easy to do. Of course, you can pull them all the way to the top. You're gonna get a little bit of a bump in there, and then you cannot open up the floor, given you have a hybrid system. There is a little bit of storage on the left and the right side. And then now this car can get up to 76.5 cubic feet, while the Volkswagen only gets up to around 59 cubic feet. However, we do have these levers you can pull that are gonna fold these down. So pretty cool touch to see that. This is gonna be all nice and flat, and you can open up the floor where you're gonna see the spare tire. A little bit of cargo on the left and the right side. So both are pretty practical overall. I don't think you're really gonna see much of an issue, and you have a ton of space up in front for the Volkswagen. Both cars are gonna get the power tailgates as well, and the Honda seats will fold nice and flat, aside from that bump in the back. So getting my bearings with the 2025 Volkswagen Tiguan, we're kind of on a bumpy road for right now, slowly getting up to speed. The engine's pretty decently peppy for slow speeds. I wouldn't mind more power out of this, obviously, but you know, your normal driving, this is gonna do what you need to do. It's got a comfortable seating position, really good visibility, fantastic view around with no complaints over my left or my right shoulder. The interior I like a lot. It feels premium, especially with all like the soft touch material throughout it, the wood style, the ambient lighting throughout everything. It's a nice place to be. Really can't complain with the interior. It feels like it could compete with something $50,000 to $60,000. So I feel like Volkswagen did a great job with just this interior. I mean, it really feels quite nice. It's nice to see with the drive modes, we do have the off-road ones, snow ones. So if you're gonna be tackling some things off pavement, you know, with the all-wheel drive, this is gonna be a pretty capable family SUV to where not only can you fit the family, but you can go places. It's not a rugged off-roader, obviously, but it's gonna have the capabilities you're gonna need to do a lot. You can see around very well. It's a very well-rounded car. I don't think you're gonna have many complaints. The suspension over those bumps, you know, you can definitely feel the bumps. It's a little on the stiff side, but when we're cruising on the road, on bumpier roads, you might feel it just a little bit, but overall it's a pretty smooth to drive car. Maybe a little bit of road noise in it overall. On the highway, it seems pretty smooth and quiet. So I feel like for the pricing, for the construction, it's not an Audi. It's big brother. The Audi Q5 obviously is a bit more refined, but for the pricing, this is a very refined to drive car. It's kind of super well-rounded. The tech all works very well. I do like with the giant screen, everything is so big to where you don't really have to take your eyes off the road to see anything. However, on the flip side, the biggest drawback that I have with this, for the climate fan speed, you have to tap the tiny little climate icon and then look back and find the tiny little plus icon or minus icon. So you're constantly taking your eyes off the road for fan speed when everything else you don't have to. We have 3 ways to adjust volume. This center volume dial, I would much rather be fan speed. I think that would make so much more sense. Maybe they could do an updated program to give me that, because I don't need 3 ways to do volume. I just need 1 good way to do the climate. Other than that though, I do like the temperature sliders. You don't have to even look at it to do it. I like how you can feel it. So overall, I'm like 95% thinking this car is awesome. It has a lot going for it for the price point. And then whether you're in sport mode or normal mode, you still got the same power. It's a little bit more peppy and zippy when you're in the sport mode, which is a good touch to give you that little extra that it's lacking. But well-rounded car nonetheless, really can't complain. So now into the 2026 Honda CRV, unchanged from 2025. Getting my bearings with this, it's still nice and comfortable. The seating position is good. The seats might feel just a little shorter for my legs, but still very plush, no complaints there. With this one, we do have the downhill assist and the all-wheel drive. So not really an off-road mode or anything, but honestly, again, this is gonna do everything you need to do for a camping trip or some sort of adventure where you're off pavement. The simple backup camera these days, yeah, it's a little dated now, not having a 360 available. Same with the panoramic sunroof. Wouldn't mind just more of that light let in and the camera view to see around. The suspension is nice and soft though, so hitting those bumps off-road, it's gonna be a smooth ride if you're taking this on a mountain trail or something like that. Now, getting up to speed in the normal road. So being just a naturally aspirated engine, you have a smooth power delivery. It's not that much power though, obviously. But then the EV system, what I love about hybrids, as soon as you touch the throttle, the electronics are kicking in, giving you instant throttle response, and you're getting that get up and go in the low speeds. So when you're maybe just at a stop and you're crossing traffic, you touch the throttle and you're instantly starting to zip over through traffic. That is a nice touch. The Tiguan, for sure, I've had times where you gotta let the turbo spool a little bit, the throttle response is laggy, so it's been a little hard crossing traffic. You gotta make sure you're in sport mode. So for this, it is nice and zippy. If you put it into the sport mode, it does get a little bit more zippy when you press the throttle harder. However, the Tiguan's gonna get more of the top end due to the turbo. While the power figures are similar overall, the Tiguan definitely has more power to it. So I kind of wish I could blend both engines, get the top end in the Tiguan, but the low end torque in the hybrid. Also, slow speed driving, you do have the EV system to where the engine's gonna kick off. Ride quality, this seems to ride pretty good. Like I said, it's a plush seat. You have good visibility all around, really not hard. Those rear windows are very large, left and right shoulder, no big deal. I think this is a little bit noisier. You're hearing a little bit of the road noise as I'm driving. Not really any wind noise, but you are hearing a little road noise. So while this is gonna ride maybe a bit smoother, a little bit more plush over the bumps, and the seat is a little bit more padded, it's just a slightly noisier ride. Not to say that they're bad, just you're gonna notice a little bit of that in the CRV. And then I think the biggest thing that you're gonna notice in this, it's definitely kind of old feeling. There's nothing new or exciting about the CRV anymore. I think it's kind of at the final days of this generation. Hopefully they come out with something new. That Tiguan is so nice on the interior. It feels like something more expensive. The exterior, I think, looks more bold. The interior just feels like a high-end luxury car almost. So this is just kind of basic, kind of simple. I think probably going to appeal to maybe an older demographic who isn't really interested in cool, fun, sporty. They just want simple and nice. So it's not a bad option at all. It's just, this doesn't feel new at all compared to what the Tiguan's like. So ending thoughts after driving in the Honda CRV alongside the Volkswagen Tiguan. Overall, both cars are very nice. They have a lot to offer. I think the Honda CRV is showing its age a little. There's nothing wrong with it. It's comfortable, it's nice to drive, it's roomy. good gas mileage, good power, especially in the hybrid. I just think as far as its style and stuff, there's nothing really exciting about it. And for the money, the Volkswagen is actually a little cheaper, and yet it has so many more features, and it feels more luxurious, it feels cooler. And I think for a younger buyer, you know, maybe 40s and under, they're gonna lean towards the Volkswagen just because it feels more high-end, it feels cool. The Honda CRV is probably gonna be targeted towards an older demographic who just wants a simple, nice Honda. So I think the target audience is gonna be different. And personally, I've been really impressed with the Volkswagen just because it drives sporty, it looks cool, it feels luxurious on the inside. So with that said, maybe Honda, hopefully around the corner, will have something new and exciting for the CRV. I think it's about time they do a new version, a new generation. But there you guys go, my thoughts with the Honda CRV alongside the Volkswagen Tiguan. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.